Everybody, it's your hospitality friend Blaze here, coming at you from the Hunter Hotel Investment Conference. And I found myself Paul Daly. He's the global head of franchise and owner relations. Or is it owner and franchise relations? I don't know how.
Either one is fine. Yeah.
That's great. Well, it's great to talk to you.
Pleasure. Pleasure.
First, before we get going, how you feeling about overall vibe over here at Hunter?
Fantastic. Great energy. I mean, obviously, I think since the pandemic, every year it's building and building and building. But right now, it's really on fire.
It really is on fire. They got a record amount of people. And speaking of records, it feels to me as if you're having record growth. And over the last number of years, Hyatt has been quiet for you.
Yeah.
Building an incredible portfolio of hotels.
Yeah.
And as a journalist in this industry, I'm glad you're not so quiet anymore.
Yeah, well, here's what I would say. I've said this to a couple folks. Like, I've been with Hyatt for 35 years.
Yeah.
Hard for me to say that, right?
Yeah.
It's good and bad, I guess. It does make me feel a bit old, but I've never been more excited about where Hyatt is. And if you think about where we were in 2017, we've tripled the size of our portfolio.
Yeah,
right.
Which is absolutely incredible. In the last 6 years, for those of you who don't know, they've done a lot of incredible acquisitions, but more importantly, you've been building your base of owner hotels that franchise with you, and that's kind of changing that dynamic.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our conversation for today.
Yeah.
Right? You worked before this in a lot of other capacities, so you've got a good understanding of like how to create a little love between those sides.
Yeah, well, listen, it was funny when right before the pandemic, we were thinking about how do we reinvent our franchise model. Of course, the pandemic happens. Everyone did kind of this hard reset. All the brands went through it. But we really took the opportunity to really think like, okay, let's whiteboard this. Think of, Steve Jobs always said, like, typically engineers, they build a product and then they say, okay, how are we going to bring this to market? And he kind of did the opposite with the iPhone. I said, that's right.
What does the market need that they don't even understand that they need?
That's right. And so that's what we did with, we call it Forge. We have to have an acronym for everything.
Yeah, of course.
But we did in the summer of 150 interviews with owners, operators, GMs, executive. How could we be better in terms of the franchisee model? And that has been, this idea of always listening to owners has been part of our DNA for a long time. But that structurally led us on this journey to create Forge, and we've been on fire. It's been an amazing journey.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about what that actually means, because a lot of companies and everybody's got great relationships and all of that kind of stuff, but how are you really listening and turning that into actionable insights?
Yeah, well, to your point, we do lean into being high touch.
Right, and I should say that no matter how great a relationship is, there's always going to be some sort of friction.
Yeah.
It's a good hobby for owners to be that way.
But you know what, I'd say one of our messages, it's really simple. The way that our model works, if the owner wins, we win.
Right.
Our fees are variable, right? So we really lean into driving commercial success. We use data a lot, Glenn. So in this space, in terms of measuring success, we do an owner survey every year. We're at record highs in owner sentiment. So that tells us that owners are hearing and liking the direction that we're going, but the work is far from done.
So what direction are you going in, and what wins are you getting for that franchise team?
Yeah, it's still about this idea of making sure that we balance this idea of protecting the brand for everyone's benefit, but also making sure that we keep financial success. It's really the pinnacle of everything we do.
So when you say protecting the brand, that you mean that all hotels within a single brand have some sort of uniformity in quality, so that way when guests show up, they can be confident in their stay.
I think it's about brand identity and also the guest experience.
Right, that's why I say quality as opposed to this particular item in your room. Well, I don't think today's customer cares about what brand of XYZ you have in there. It's about the experience and the overall aesthetic.
Yeah, listen, we can all buy the same bed, right? The idea is...
I feel like a lot have.
Yeah. but the idea is like, what do we do to really make it different? And that's where people make the difference, right? And so we have a ton of data that shows the hotels that do a great job with the guest experience, those are the same hotels that are outperforming financially and in market share.
Right.
So we really lean into that and make sure we're doing everything we can to support the hotels.
Excellent. What are you most excited about when it comes to helping build a community of fervently happy franchisees?
I think the biggest thing, you talked about the growth earlier, something that has been huge in the last couple of years is World of Hyatt, right? So the loyalty program, every owner wants membership because they know membership. Our members stay more, they pay more, they book direct, so the cost of acquisition is less. What we've seen in World of Hyatt wins all kinds of awards. I'm sure you know all that, but last year especially, I mean, it was amazing. It had 8 million members, and driving that base of membership. One of the things that I'm really excited about is Hyatt Studios, right? So that is a first entry for Hyatt ever in kind of this upper mid-scale space. What's really amazing about that, it's going to put us in markets we've never been in before. In fact, 50% of the deals that we've done, we've got 200 or so deals that are kind of in negotiation. Half of those are for markets that there's no Hyatt presence right now, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you think about it, like a lot of our competitors, and look, we have great respect for our competitors, but most markets, they have 14 hotels per market. We have 4.
Yeah.
We have a lot of white space.
Right, I love that, and that's why I like some of the smaller companies, because there's so much room to grow and really develop all of these brands.
Yeah.
And my whole childhood, it's like Hyatt was this mythical thing, because it felt to me that they were overseas and in some certain key cities.
Yeah, yeah.
But with what your CEO, Mark Poplamazian, has really been doing is a great coterie of brands over there that really resonate with the customers in a more meaningful way than some of the brands I've seen being acquired by others.
Here's what I would say, and I hope he watches this, because I do love Mark. I just think he's such an amazing leader. And, you know, I was sharing with you earlier, like I can be critical in a good way. I just want Hyatt to win. And when our purpose statement came out, we care for people so they can be their best. When I read those words as a 35-year veteran, I was like, they got it right. And Mark lives that, right? And when we talk about care, it's not overly complicated. It's how do we care for guests? How do we care for colleagues? How do we care for owners? Right? It's a simple thing. Maybe hard to execute sometimes, right? And sometimes those things can be conflicting, but Mark stays focused on it, and as a result, our entire company is always centered around care. So excellent. Yeah.
Any final words?
No, appreciate the time. Excited about the future. A lot of good things happening for Hyatt.
Yeah, I am too, and continue to tune in for all of our coverage. It's been great. We got a lot of great folks from Hyatt on the No Vacancy live show. We got some more coming to check that out. Hey, and while you're at it, why not subscribe to us? Text the word hotel to 66866. That's hotel to 66866. For Paul Daly and myself, Glenn Hausman. Thanks for watching.
Hey,